Good morning, everyone. It is Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's video, we got a big storm system that's going to be coming to the United States, which will be sometime next week, which will bring freezing rain, heavy rainfall, flooding, and even more than just that, maybe even some snowfall, especially farther to the north around the Great Lakes region. And we'll go over all of that throughout the video, but first of all, we're going to first start off with your your alerts, okay? And as you guys see, we do have some winter storm warnings still continuing for parts of northwest Indiana. We even got one right here across northwest Pennsylvania. We even got pretty widespread winter storm warnings across West Virginia, heading into a little bit of Kentucky, but even back to parts of Pennsylvania and as well as Ohio. So definitely looking like a little bit of wintry mix or even just snow across this area right here. We do have a few other winter weather advisories in effect for these four states, which is Montana, Washington, Idaho, and even Nebraska, and as well as Oregon, but that's a very small winter weather advisory there. But even back here in the parts of California, we do have winter storm warnings and watches in effect for this area of mountains right here. So definitely looking a little bit less active as of right now for the heartland of the United States, because not only do we have these winter storm warnings and as well as these winter storm warnings, but most of the heartland of the United States does seem to be staying dry. The only thing that we see is wind chill advisories. I know those aren't showed. I wish they were showed, but just wind chill advisories mixed with a couple of winter weather advisories and maybe even flash flood warning here in central Colorado. But other than that, not really looking that active at all. So definitely a pretty dry start to the day for most areas, especially in the plains and even Midwest. And now for your Weather Prediction Center travel impact. As you guys can see, we actually are seeing some major impacts across the California mountains, and I mean that doesn't really make me concerned because they have been seeing major impacts almost every day. But even back here in the parts of the mountains area, we aren't really seeing very many travel impacts at all. Just some couple of minor to even some areas moderate, but other than that, not really looking that bad at all. And then even back here in the parts of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and even maybe down here into places like Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, those areas are either seeing limited impacts or even minor to moderate impacts. So not very active for most states, guys, besides California. California is very active, but other than that, not that bad at all for most states. Now, for your Climate Prediction Center outlook, as you guys can see, for 6 to 10 day outlook with our temperatures much above average across the eastern United States. Same goes out here for the western United States, mainly across northwest California and southwest Oregon. So we definitely have some pretty big areas that are bound to see pretty well above average temperatures. And for your 8 to 14 day outlook on 8 to 14 day outlook on temperatures, as you see, we still continue to stay above average across southwest Oregon, getting into northwest California, but does head down past San Francisco and near the Los Angeles area, and then even back down here into places like let's say Arizona, really seeing a chance for some above average temperatures. But look at this area up here, really seeing those above average temperatures across the upper plains, heading into portions of the Rocky Mountains, and then back to the upper Midwest, really seeing those above average temperatures too as well. And now for your 6 to 10 day outlook on precipitation, as you guys can see, we are seeing a couple of dry spots, which is the upper plains. Upper plains are definitely seeing some dry spots right now, but even back down here into places like southwest Utah, heading into southern Nevada, western Arizona, and then back through the southern half of California, we are really seeing seeing those areas be pretty dry. We don't know if we're going to see a drought there or not, but I don't think we are, so we'll have to see how long we continue to stay below average. But if it's during the next couple of outlooks or so, we might be able to see some drought development there, which won't be good at all. But for your 8 to 14 day outlook on your precipitation, as you guys can see, the chances for precipitation died down pretty good across parts of the Rocky Mountains, heading through the upper plains and then back into the Ohio Valley. So definitely looking pretty dry across those areas. Only slightly above across the western United States, southern United States, and maybe even back here into parts of North Carolina, which could see its own above average precipitation. So not very active at all for the 8 to 14 day outlook, but still gonna have to be something to watch very, very closely, and we'll see if we see any major storms by that time. And this doesn't indicate that we won't see any storms, it just means the precipitation will be below average during that time frame. So it's not like you won't see a storm, but your precipitation totals will be below average. So like if your precipitation average was 2 inches and you only got an inch, that would be below average. Now for your excessive rainfall outlook, okay, as I said, I would do this instead, but as you guys can see, we do have a marginal risk for flash flooding today across northwest California, and we even got that marginal risk heading past San Francisco and maybe into one of the cities down here in the bottom part of the marginal risk. So we definitely are seeing some pretty active weather across California, but look what happens when we head into day 2, okay? Day 2, as you guys can see, we actually do see a pretty good chance for flash flooding again across California, pretty much the same areas. The only difference is that we do have another marginal risk down here in the Texas, and this one does head a little bit farther down south, okay? And now for day 3, as you guys can see, we do have 2 site risks for flash flooding. We got one across southern California, we even got another one across Texas, Houston, and as well as Louisiana, pretty much the western part of Louisiana, by the way, and it almost includes Shreveport, to be honest. I think Shreveport is actually included in the site risk for flash flooding. And we even got a threat for flash flooding across Arizona. We're not talking a whole lot of rainfall, at least not nearly as much as we're going to see for these areas, but if we get enough rainfall here, we might be talking flooding around the Phoenix area. Now for your day 4 outlook, as you guys can see, we still have that marginal risk for flash flooding continuing in Arizona, but we still have that site risk for flash flooding heading farther into Louisiana, but still including Houston. So still looking pretty active for Houston right there, because any of those lingering thunderstorms will likely produce more heavy rainfall during day 4 and as well as day 3. Okay, mainly across Houston, because Houston is included in the day 3 and day 4 outlook. So Houston's going to have to be prepared for both of those. And then look on day 5, guys. We got a widespread site risk for flash flooding, mainly across Louisiana, heading into Mississippi, back through Alabama, and then into Texas. Not nearly as close to Houston, but Houston is still having another threat for flash flooding to deal with, guys. This is super bad. I mean, this is a little bit unbelievable, by the way, because almost every day we are seeing at least one site risk for flash flooding, and that is not fun at all. But if we start taking a look at the radar, we're going to start using the GFS model again, mainly because it heads farther out and the European model was being very active or even bullish on something that I didn't really want to see. So we're going to use the GFS model, and as you guys see, that freezing rain really continues to ramp up, and to be honest, that's kind of bullish too as well, but it continues moving through Illinois, Indiana, heading into Michigan, so we will have to watch for that too. And then we pretty much got a line of showers, rain, and maybe even a few isolated thunderstorms around, and then as that system finally heads out, we'll start to see maybe even some more storms and heavy rain on the back side of that, so that one will finally head out, and then we start to see another one of that move through. So these will kind of be training thunderstorms, okay, because We start out with this one, that one moves through, then we see another one just continuing grabbing onto that next system, and then we see another one. So this will be like a training thunderstorm event moving through like Nashville, Tennessee, maybe even much of Alabama, heading into Georgia. So this will be like training thunderstorms, okay? And then we'll see another one of that happen. This one might be a little bit more active, by the way, because as you guys can see, it moves through Indiana, Kentucky, and still brings a little bit more in the way of rainfall with this next system, which will be 186 hours out, which is till January 7th, so about a week out from now, and maybe even some snow on the backside of that, possibly. Not gonna cause any winter storm issues or anything, maybe a little bit heavy snow across the Cleveland area, but other than that, not really looking that bad at all. And then as we head past 300 hours, or I mean, we'll have to at least watch another winter storm potential and see if those temperatures too should drop. But what I'm trying to say is that usually when you head 3 hours out, you're definitely going to want to take this with a grain of salt. And as you see, as we head 300 hours out at least, let me go back down here, 300 hours out at least, as you guys can see, we start to see maybe another storm roll through these areas, which could bring freezing rain and stuff like that to the Great Lakes region. But other than that, just take it with a grain of salt. We really don't know how this next system is going to play out, or I mean the last system, I should say, especially because we're at the end of it. But I mean, we're going to have to watch closely, okay? We're going to have to watch very closely and see if we really start to see any of these nasty storms pop up, and we'll talk about that during the next few videos or so. And now for your total precipitation, as you guys can see, looking pretty active across this area right here, okay? Across Louisiana, Texas, starting Arkansas, heading into Mississippi, and then back through parts of Tennessee like Nashville and even Memphis. So this whole area is seeing anywhere from 1 to even as much as 9 inches of rainfall, guys. I mean, that is crazy. 9 inches of rainfall, guys, and I'm not joking about that. Look at the total when I put my mouse on it. Look, 11 inches. Okay, wow, holy crap. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. 11 inches of rainfall across portions of Mississippi. But look at Shreveport. Look at that, 8 inches of rainfall there. Look at Houston, 7 inches. So I mean, it's bound to be an event across northern Mississippi, guys. This is not gonna be fun at all. This is not, okay? So I would definitely watch very closely for significant flash flooding, and even though the parts of the Ohio Valley won't be seeing nearly as much, we could still see this rain line shift a little bit farther to the north, depending on how the rain across the Ohio Valley strengthens. So we'll see about that, but it's crazy, guys. It's very, very crazy. And this heads all the way out to January 26th. So, yeah, I mean, we're heading less than a week out, technically. So, pretty bullish, to be honest. At least I think it's bullish because, I mean, this much rain, it's definitely pretty bad to me. So we'll have to see if we see all of this occur. But I don't think we'll see this much rainfall, because a lot of these storms didn't seem to be in the heavy range. And what I mean by that is we didn't see like a whole bunch of heavy rain across the entire area. We saw more like of the green and the yellow and maybe even orange, but not nearly as much red. But I mean, we'll see about that, guys. It might get surprising out here, and we'll see if it really plays out this way. But I don't know if it's gonna be this significant, but we'll see about that. And now for your total snowfall, as you guys can see, not nearly as much snowfall as we've been having. As you see, a little bit of snowfall across places like Lincoln, Nebraska, heading into Des Moines, Iowa, and then back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So most of the snowfall seems to be staying north of Indiana, I should say, but still some of northern Missouri, northern Kansas, really seeing the snowfall totals ramp up a little bit, at least quite a bit, as you see, maybe about 3 to 4 inches across Kansas, maybe even 6 inches across Iowa. That might be able to issue another winter storm warning or two. Maybe a little bit snowfall for New England. We could see a little bit more across northern New York, and then even back down here into the Appalachian Mountains, also really seeing those snowfall totals ramp up too as well. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. We'll continue to keep you guys updated, and like I said, I don't think we're going to see this storm be this significant, because I mean, it just looks bullish to me, guys. But like I said, this could be surprisingly bad, and we'll see about that, okay? But thank you guys very much for watching, and I will do one tomorrow.